All right, so in this session, I'll be showing you how to set up various approval routes on the Coopsolve platform. So if you already have your username and password, please go ahead and log in. Once you are logged in, you will be able to access the dashboard. From here, go to administration. Under administration, you see society setup. From the society setup, you will see the side menu by the side here. So in this side menu, here you have the second to the last menu there is called approval setup. So click on the approval setup. Under the approval setup, you can set up different approval. For this demo account, I've already set up various approval. But to set up a new approval, you will see new approval from here. So you click on the new approval. The new approval page will show you all the various approval that you can set up. Make sure that the people that you want to assign different role and responsibility to are already set up and you have created username and password for them. I will take you through how to do that in a short while. So from here, you will see the route name. The route name is the module that you want to assign to a user. You can select the route. So here you will see all the various routes, add member. So if you assign this to someone, it's that person that will be able to add a new member from the admin page. So you have add member, add new agent, add new customer, add savings. There are some of the modules that might not relate to your setup, but whichever one that you want to set up, you just select them from here. Each of these have to be set up one by one. So if I want to enable one particular member of my staff to be able to add member, I'll click on add member. And then here you will see first approver. Then I will search for the name of the person. Take note, you have to search for the name of the person. You can search for the first name of the person. Before you finish typing the full name, the system will suggest if there is someone like that. So I can see here, I have Topper. So I can select Topper, all right? And then the status have to be active. Once I click on submit, it's only Topper that will be able to add a new member. Now, you have so many other routes that you can set up. So this is add new member, add new agent. If you have field agents that go to collect daily savings, so you can attach this to a collection administrator who will be able to create account for the agents. Then you have add new customers, add savings. So this will enable someone to post savings, add target savings, bulk remittance, change members' password, export data, deactivate member, delete members' account, edit profile, loan application deletion, loan application fee, loan approval, loan offset, loan payment, loan reschedule, loan status update, loan suspension, manage customer, payment reconciliation, request and approval, transaction, and payment approval. So all of these privileges you can assign to different member. From what you have sent, you will want to assign transaction and payment approval to yourself as the administrator. Then assign any of this one to the other member of staff. The reason being that the hard savings, when someone posts savings, it will still be subjected to approval by someone who has the privilege of transaction and payment approval. And when someone posts payment reconciliation, loan payment, and all payment and transaction related transactions, they will be subject to transaction and payment approval. So you restrict this transaction and payment approval to the administrator, while all of these other ones you can distribute among the employees that you have, depending on how you want them to work. If there is any of this that you did not attach to any particular employee, what's going to happen is that the system will allow that operation to work normally without subjecting it to approval. Now, if you go to all approval setup, you will see all the various approval that I have set up. So here, add member, I have assigned it to this person, add savings, add target savings, and all of the rest. So loan approval, there are some transactions that you can assign to two individuals. For instance, like loan approval, I have assigned to two individuals. You can assign it to the president and the treasurer, depending on the structure that you operate on. We also have the loan application fee. It can be assigned to two individuals, but there are some transactions that you can assign to just one individual. Transaction that relates to adding can only be attached to just one individual. And if at any particular time, maybe that person leaves the cooperative, then you want to delete that access that you have given to them. All right, fantastic. I remember also that you mentioned something about target savings. So still in this same section, if you go to target savings, you will see that you can actually set up your target savings. So these are the target savings that have been set up in the system. To enable a target savings, you go to add new and then set up a target savings. So you can give it a title, land savings. So members are contributing towards land. You can go land contribution, whatever you want to call it. So here, if it's mandatory, you leave it as mandatory. If it's optional, it means members can join and can leave at any particular time. If it's mandatory, it means everybody is going to contribute and be part of this land savings. Then when a member logs in, you will also see that he has subscribed to land savings. Then you can set the amount as variable, which means members can contribute any amount they want. Then you can set it as fixed. If you set it as fixed, then you have to enter the amount here. So whatever you put here is what everybody is going to be contributing into this land savings contribution. So usually I like to set it as variable. So being variable means everybody can decide whatever they want to contribute. As a matter of fact, I can say it's variable, but it's going to be 10% of the savings of that every member. So 10% of the savings of every member will be taken into the land contribution. All right, so here you will attach it to a bank. If you have not created or set up a bank, you can attach it to cash at bank or petty cash. Then you save. So if you save this, it will create an additional target savings for you. Those bank accounts, you have to set them up here under bank accounts. So it's part of the initial setup that you have to do. So if you go under bank account, your cooperative will already have some existing bank account with some of the commercial banks. So you want to link that up in here. What is the name of the account? System and the account number. All right, and then you want to select the name of the bank. I say this bank is with Access Bank. All right, and then you can link this bank account and say this bank account, we're only going to use it for loan. Or you can say this bank account, we're using it for loan and for savings. So each time members make payments for loan or for savings, automatically Coopsolve will resolve them and credit this bank account because you have set it that this bank account should be used for loan and for savings. Then if you save this, you can now create another bank account. Maybe that one is with Fidelity Bank and say that second bank account is for target savings. So each time members make contribution for target savings, like the land contribution I mentioned earlier, automatically all of those payments will go into this new bank account that you have created for target savings. So that's the step number one. Once you have created those banks, you will see the bank account will be listed in here. You then have to go through the second step. The second step is to enable online transaction on those bank accounts. What do I mean by online transaction? When your members log in with their username and password, they want to make payments with their ATM card they want to transfer, they want to make payment using USSD code. So those are online transactions. So you want to link each of these bank accounts to an online transaction so that each time when a member makes payment, then those payments can get resolved into these bank accounts. So for instance, I want to link this Access Bank for all of our online transactions. To do that, I'll click on this menu here and say Profile Online Payments. And then here, I'll provide the same bank account name, bank account number, select the bank from here, and then say Submit. And that will profile that account for online payment. So subsequently, when members are making payment, all those payments get reconciled into the accounts that you have linked for your online profile. All right, so like I said, it's mandatory. You have to set up your bank account here, minimum of one bank account, so that each time you are filling the form, there are some transactions that requires those bank accounts. Like when I was creating this target savings, if you go to add new target savings, you see it's going to ask you to attach a bank account, because when those transactions for target savings comes in, the system will automatically know which bank account to put them. Now, if you go under financial setup, let me quickly cover that in this tutorial. This is for your loan. You can set up different categories of loan depending on how your cooperative works. And the way to do it is to go to add new loan type. So here, I can call this loan SME loan. So this is something you have to do initially before you start using the system. However, if you're already using the system, it's not too late. You can also still do it. So you go to the loan. Sometimes you can call it a member's loan or personal loan, whatever that loan is for. So you want to put the name in here. What is the interest rate on the loan? So, for example, 5%. All right. The interest rate, is it applied yearly or monthly? I'll say this interest rate is applied monthly. All right. Repayment can be monthly, it can be weekly. So you select which of the repayments that you want. Then the interest, how is it calculated? Usually we recommend you use reducing balance equal repayment. So this way it uses the reducing balance and then the repayment will always be equal. If there is an application fee that you charge when members are applying for this SME loan, you want to put that here and make sure it's in Naira. I'll say 10,000 Naira. So members have to pay 10,000 Naira before they apply for the SME loan. So here, the application fee is not a percentage, it's in Naira. Then remember, we talked about linking your bank account. If you have provisioned a bank account, you will see that bank account will be listed here. So this is the Access Bank which I have created earlier. So I have that. So I have attached that. Its commodity will be no, because this loan is not going to be used for commodity or purchasing. So here, I'm done setting up, then you save. Once you save this, when members are applying for loan, they will have the option to select SME loan from their application. And that will automatically apply this interest rates and all of the parameters that you have set up here for the loan of that particular member. So that's how to set up your loan. Now let's go to savings. On that same page, you have what is called savings and investment. So you click on savings and investment. Under savings and investment, it depends on what you have done earlier, but the system will automatically have these three categories of savings. General savings, which is targeted at salary earners, requires once in a month contribution. Then you have what is called daily savings, which is like the Agile contribution. Then you have what is called the weekly savings. You can enable all of these savings or just enable one or two out of these three. Now, you should pay attention to the status. If the status is saying active, that means it's already enabled. If the status is saying inactive or pending, that means it's not enabled. So what you do in that case is to click on this menu and say edit savings, and then change the status from inactive to active. There are other things you might want to have a look at. For some of the savings, you can actually change the name. So this daily contribution, you can change the name. You can call it Ajo Savings. What is the minimum contribution for that savings? You can set a minimum contribution. If there is no minimum contribution, then you want to change this to 0. What is the registration fee? If there is no registration, you change it to 0. But if there is a registration fee, then you want to put it in there because the system will charge that registration fee when you are signing up. So you can apply these savings and say this daily savings is for customers only. Or you can say only members can be part of this savings. Or you can say both members and customers can be part of this savings. So once you set this up, if you say only customers, it's only customers that will see the daily savings. If you say only members, then only members will be able to see it. Sometimes you just want to say both because at some particular time, you might have a member that wants to be part of your Ajo savings. So if you give interest rate or you are setting up that savings as an investment, then you want to put the interest rate here, which will be calculated monthly. Then here, you want to say apply interest on which day of the month. If you say on the 30th of the month, then this system will automatically apply that interest, maybe 5% on the 30th of every month. But often savings, you don't want to put any interest, so you leave it at 0 and you leave this at 0. If you are charging penalty for when members or customers default in paying their money, then you want to put the amount you want to charge here and then say charge this penalty every week or charge this penalty every month, or just say none, we are not charging penalty. So the system will not charge penalty. So if you set it to active and you submit, that means you have enabled daily savings for your cooperative. All right, so that's how to set up your savings. Now, what if there are other type of savings that you take in your cooperative? I have savings weekly, savings daily, and I have general savings. Of course, you can add additional savings. So you simply go to new savings setup and then create those additional savings that you accept in your cooperative. Make sure you set the status to active so that when members are registering, you'll be able to see all the various available savings and subscribe to whichever one that they want. So that is savings and investment. Earlier, I said I'll show you how to create how to register new members of staff. So if you go under administration, you go under employee, you will see add employee. So from here, you can add a new staff member. Once you put their son name, put their friend name, put their phone number, the position of the person, make sure the status is set to active. Actually, if you put the son name, if you put the son name and the first name, the system will automatically generate the username for you. So you don't need to bother yourself about this, but you will enter the password. Make sure you enter something very secure, all right? And then set the role of the person. Usually you want to set it to something like executive and staff, and then use the approval route to decide what this person can do. Or you can set it, if you set it to member, then this person will not be able to do anything. It's just going to be able to see exactly what a member sees. Then there is a finance rule which you reserve for maybe your accountant or your treasurer. Then there is a collection agent. So you set it as executive and staff. If you do that, then you can save this. After saving it, if you create that particular staff member, you will have the username and password. Then you can now go under administration, society setup, and now go to approval setup, and then under that approval setup, you can now set a new approval route for that particular person that you have just created the account profile. And that can be set up based on any of the parameters that are here. I hope with this short presentation, I've been able to answer many of your questions. If you still have further questions, please do throw it on WhatsApp, and I'll be glad to do more recordings for you. Thank you.